Yeah, hi there. So these comments are for someone at Quora.com. You requested that I answer this question. How can I get 27 points or higher on the speaking section of the TOEFL IBT exam? And so far you have 4 answers, so it looks like you have some pretty good answers. It looks like a lot of these students did very well. This second one got 118 on the TOEFL. Wow. This guy Oscar got 115. And this other student got 97, but not so good on the speaking area, right? So there are a number of things that you can do which will have a dramatic impact on your score. So the purpose of this video is to outline some additional ideas, things that were not mentioned here. I'm gonna further the conversation by bringing in some other things that I think are important for you and for helping you to reach your target TOEFL speaking score. Okay, so 27 points out of 30 on the speaking is not going to be easy, right? So first of all, you have to remember that there's kind of an average here. So if you look at the 6, you got to get 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, then maybe 3. So if you get a perfect score on 5 of your speaking tasks and you get a score of 3 on one of them, then it should average out to give you a score of 27 or higher, right? If you get a score of 4 on 4 of your tasks and then you get a score of 3 on 2 of them, that will average out to 26 points. So I'm just giving you an idea of what you have to do. So you need to get nearly perfect scores in all 6 speaking tasks. Now the second thing I want to take a look at, I'm going to go to Google for a minute here. And you need to make sure you understand exactly what you need to do in order to get this score of 4, right? So I typed in the words integrated speaking rubrics. If you want to put the keyword TOEFL in there, you can. And that brings us to this. So let's take a look at what this means for speaking. So you have to make sure you understand what a score of 4 means, right? So first of all, the response fulfills the demands of the task with at most minor lapses in completeness. It is highly intelligible and exhibits sustained coherent discourse. Right? So you have to answer the question, obviously. Delivery. You have a well-paced flow. Speech is clear. You may have minor lapses or minor difficulties with pronunciation or intonation patterns which don't affect your overall intelligibility, which means it's very easy for native speakers to understand you. Language use. Your response demonstrates effective use of grammar and vocabulary, so you have a fairly high degree of automaticity with good control of basic and complex structures as appropriate. Some minor or systematic errors are noticeable, but do not obscure meaning. So it means you need to speak fairly naturally. You need to, for example, if I said to you, how many years do you have? That's not very natural. If I say, how old are you? That's very natural. So you have to make sure the kinds of expressions that you're using are very natural, they're automatic, and you have to have a good control of both basic and complex vocabulary and grammar. Topic development. Response is sustained and sufficient to the task. It is generally well developed and coherent. Relationships between ideas are clear or clear progression of ideas. So you have to make sure you're organizing and developing your responses. If you can do well in these 4 categories, you will get a score of 4. All right, now let's take a look at integrated speaking. So it says the response fulfills demands of the task with the most minor lapses in completeness. It is highly intelligible and exhibits sustained, coherent discourse. So your speech is clear, fluid, and sustained, same as before. You may have minor difficulties with pronunciation or intonation. Your pace may vary at times as you attempt to recall information, but your intelligibility is very high again. Language use, same as before. You have good control of both basic and complex vocabulary and grammar. You have automatic, natural sounding English when you're speaking. Any problems you might have, right, are minor and they do not obscure meaning in any way. Topic development, you have clear progression of ideas. You convey relevant information required by the task. This is important. So you have appropriate detail, though you may have minor errors or minor omissions, but not major omissions. So you're trying to recall, in the integrated speaking, you're recalling information from reading and listening passages, and for the most part, you need to be able to remember those big ideas. You can't leave out anything. If you can do that and fit in this category, you will get a score of 4. That is what your goal is. Now, to further help you with your idea here, I wish that I knew exactly what your speaking score was or is right now, and that also helps me give you better feedback. But now let's get into your study plan, right? So this is a study plan for you to get 27 out of 30 on speaking. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Probably you're not going to be able to do this on your own. You're going to need some help. And guess what? That's what I do. I am a TOEFL IBT speaking specialist. I am the owner, founder, and the materials writer for my online course, a 7-step system to pass a TOEFL IBT. So if you are one of my students right now, here's what I would tell you to do. Okay, first of all, complete my pronunciation pretest. So I'm guessing your score is probably around 22, 23 points. You need to get higher than 26, so you want to get 27. So you probably need some pronunciation practice. So that would be my first step. Complete my pronunciation pretest. I will then tell you which vowel and which consonant sounds you're having trouble with. I will tell you to study certain lessons. At the end of those lessons, there are some practice exercises. You complete those practice exercises, you email me your pronunciation, I give you feedback, and I tell you whether or not you have mastered those vowel and those consonant sounds that you're having trouble with. That's what I would do. Now, once you've completed all the recommended vowel and consonant sound lessons, I would say do my second pretest, pretest number 2. So when you do the second pretest, I will tell you what problems you're having in the following areas: syllable division, grammatical word endings, word stress, sentence rhythm, intonation, and thought groups and blending. Again, I will recommend specific lessons I want you to complete. You will go through those videos, you will complete the lessons at the end of the videos, and you can email me your pronunciation practice. I'll listen to it, I'll give you feedback, I will tell you whether or not you have mastered those sounds. Now, my recommendation right now is half and half. About 50% of your time you should be spending doing practice with delivery, especially if you're stuck around 23 or 24 points. So practice a lot of pronunciation. Now, the next thing you should do, you should start completing independent and integrated speaking practice tests, right? And you're going to email those to me. So when you email them to me, I will listen to them. I will actually give you a speaking score. I will tell you if it's a 4, if it's a 3, if it's a 2, or if it's a 1. And I'll even tell you why. And I can even tell you specific lessons that you can focus on to get better. So I think it's a combination of doing pronunciation and also speaking practice. But you need to send the practice to me so I can listen to it. I can evaluate it. I can see specifically what problems you're having and then what you need to do to get better. Now, my recommendation also, I'm going to give you the ABC rule right here. So for every 3 practice tests that you complete, maybe here you're taking 15 seconds to prepare. maybe here again, 15 seconds to prepare. But the third, every third speaking practice test that you do, I want you to take up to 60 minutes to prepare. And you might think I'm crazy when I tell you why. One of the practice tests, I want you to write it all out. I want you to get all the grammar, all the vocabulary right, get everything right, practice it several times, and then post it for me to listen to. Now, as you do that 1 hour speaking practice for just one task, eventually you will begin to incorporate a lot of that written practice. It'll translate into your speaking, and then your vocabulary and your grammar and your organization and your development and all that, it will become more and more natural. So that's what I call the ABC rule. So every third practice test, you want to spend a lot of time writing it out, getting it right, and then send it to me to give you comments on. Okay, so I think that's going to be helpful. Now, I'll give you one more suggestion. Now, at my online TOEFL course, I also have listening and reading sections. So I want you to, as you do the listening and the reading practice in my course, really focus on taking down notes. Try to get the main and the most important supporting points of the listening and the reading passages. Then using your notes, you can actually practice speaking about this information. This is very good for integrated speaking. So you should be doing about 5 of these speaking practice tests every week where you're listening to one of my passages or you're reading a passage, you're taking down notes and then speaking about it. Right? You can also do that. So I don't need to listen and comment on those. But what you're going to do with me is you're going to be sending me speaking and pronunciation practice every day. And then I'm going to coach you. I will help you. I will tell you what works, what doesn't work. I'll tell you what types of changes you need to make with your pronunciation, with your language use, with your topic development so you can score higher, right? And it takes time, right? You have to hear me explain over and over and over, and eventually you will get better and better and better at improving your speaking, and then pretty soon you will be able to reach 27 points. How do I know? I had 4 of my students 2 months ago, all of whom reached 27 points on the speaking. They did what I'm telling you now. They did a combination of pronunciation and speaking practice at my website, and they're sending me practice on a day-to-day basis, and I provided them feedback to help them improve, and they did. And you can too. So does that make sense? So that's kind of what I recommend for you. These would be some things that I think is a great study plan for you to get you at 27 points or higher. So depending on where you are, it could take you anywhere from 1 to 5 months before you're going to reach this goal. I'm going to be honest with you. Everybody tells you what you want to hear. I don't do that. I don't need your business. I teach at California State University, San Bernardino. I'm very happy with what I do here. I don't need to teach thousands of students, but the students I do teach, I want them to get it right. I want them to reach their goals. You see what I'm saying? So I'm never going to tell you something just because I think you want to hear it. I will give you the truth. Again, it probably will take you anywhere from 1 to 5 months to reach your goal. It just depends on how many problems you're having with your speaking and then how long it will take you to resolve those issues. All right, so what do you do now? A, you can do nothing and you can keep struggling. B, go to onlinetoeflcourse.com, join my course today, and you can begin improving your pronunciation and speaking immediately. You make the choice. All right, thank you.